Hi everybody, welcome back to DayZ and welcome back to the Northeast Airfield where I like to do my little tutorials. Now this one is all about how you can lock vehicle parts and vehicle panels to your cars and trucks so people can't steal them. Now a big shout out has to go to Boydie from the DayZ podcast who mentioned this on a recent podcast. I'll put a link to their YouTube channel in the description below this one, who reminded me of this, and I don't think I've ever done a video about it. But it's pretty cool what you can do, especially when you use your imagination to think about maybe not only just protecting your vehicle, but what you can do to other people's vehicles as well. So the tools we're going to kind of playing around with that you need to find are the tire iron, because we're going to use that to fix the wheels in place, the screwdriver, which we're going to use to fix the car parts like the radiator and the battery in place, and the wrench, which we're going to use to fix the body panels in place. Right, so for example, so you come back to your car that you've made up and somebody's nicked a wheel off it. So let's take this wheel, let's go and put it on. Now this works fine for console and PC. So our wheels are on this aider. Looks beautiful, isn't it? So now if we take the wheel wrench into our hands, there we go, we've got the wheel wrench there, you can see, or the tire iron or the lug. We can now lock this wheel into place like so. So if we put the lug away, we now don't get the option to take it off, and it's locked on there. How cool is that? And we can do that with all the wheels. Now if we kind of get inside the car, I'm the sort of car mechanic who climbs on top of my car to do anything. If we now take the screwdriver out, there we go, so we've now got the screwdriver in our hands, there you can see, and we look at the radiator, we can now lock the radiator into place. Obviously remember to fill it up with water before you do that, and then if we look at the battery, you can lock the battery into place. I don't think you can lock the spark plug. What you would do is you could take the spark plug with you, can you, because it doesn't actually take up much inventory space. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? So it means that people can't take that stuff. Now if we equip the wrench, there we go, now I've got the wrench. What you can do is that as long as they are open, you can then lock panels in place. So as you can see, let me close this. So the panels, the hood is closed, or the bonnet is closed, and I've got the wrench in my hand. But when I open it, you'll see we now get the option to lock it in place. So we can now lock that in place, and now we won't get the option to take it. So when I go up to, let's put this away. When I go up to this Humvee, I can open the door, for example, and then I get the option to take it to my hands, and I can take it off, can I? Dunk, we can take it off, or we could put it back on. There we go. And then if I've got the wrench in my hands with the door open, not the knife, we want the wrench. With the door open, I can then get the option to lock it. So just remember that when you're locking in the boot or the bonnet or anything like that, the particular panel must be open for you to be able to do it. If you close it, for example, so with this door here, I've got the wrench in my hand, but I don't get the option to lock it in place. But as soon as I open it, as you can see, I've got the option to lock it in place. So that's really good for protecting, you know, a vehicle that you've got, to stop people taking things off it, which is really good. But also it means that as soon as you've got something like a screwdriver, or a wrench, or really the screwdriver and the tire iron, it means that when you find a vehicle, you can start adding things to it and then wander off and find other stuff and add stuff to it, hopefully preventing someone from taking it, but also means people can't take the stuff off it. So it makes it easier to get a vehicle going, because it means you don't have to think about, right, I'm going to store all the bits in a tent somewhere, for example, or in a base somewhere, get them all together, then I'm going to transfer them all to a vehicle. By doing it this way, by getting all the wheels on a vehicle first, and then getting the getting the battery and fixing it into place with the screwdriver, you're kind of securing those bits. Now obviously it's not that difficult to find these things like the screwdriver and the lug and the wrench, but what normally happens is, and Boydie pointed this out, which was absolutely true, normally we kind of ignore them. and we don't kind of realise how useful they are. You often look at the wrench and think, well, what am I going to use that for? And you think, well, okay, with the screwdriver, cool, I can use that to, I think you can chip rocks off, can't you? You can use it as a sharp implement against zombies. You might even be able to cut stuff open with it. But it's really useful for that. And the tire iron, the tire iron especially, when am I going to use a tire iron again? Useful as a melee weapon. But again, if you want to get a vehicle going, you can just go up to somewhere, and start fixing the things in place. And it just gives you that added little bit of extra security. The other thing, obviously, you can do, and Boyd pointed this one out, is if you find a complete vehicle, you could do things like take the radiator out, and that would empty it, put the radiator back in, and then fix it into place so they can't get it out, the person, and then when they come along and they jump into it, and they'll see that the radiator's empty, or they start to drive off on it, and the radiator starts making the car starts making a funny noise, you could then ambush them that way, couldn't you? So there's all sorts of other shenanigans you could get up to by locking things into place for someone who didn't want them locked into place, if you see what I mean, like that. So there we go. Just remember, really cool tools that you should probably think about having in your backpack. How you find them now is screwdriver and the wrench and the tire iron, because the tire iron helps you lock wheels into place, the wrench or adjustable spanner allows you to lock panels into place, and the screwdriver will allow you to lock car parts into place. Okay, hopefully you found these useful. If you have, hit like. You want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and of course I'll see you again soon.